Cheerly Jupiter point of Thales. This is Mercury, our Sol day. And the Sun is 7 degrees Cancer with the Moon in the first house, 26 degrees Leo, conjuncting the Ascendant, midheaven ruled by Venus. Venus is in 24 degrees Taurus. We do not have Venus talisman as it's not Venus hour. I missed Venus hour, which perhaps I could have Venus talisman. But anyway, so I do not have the Venus in Taurus currently. If anyone did the Venus in Taurus talisman, please let me know in the comment. I might like to purchase that when I tend to that. What's that dumb fuckery with the currency? I mean, I had to call my credit card. I made a credit card outside of the bank because I'm like, if I need to date, like, even if the bank was like the most attractive man right now, like, if I need to, like, if it's that uncomfortable dating you, you have to set an appointment, you have to wait in line. Many people try to disturb you along the way. And okay, I understand the jabs towards me right now, but you see, um, and all of that, so you will do actions that are against your wish. I mean, this is why I don't date guys. So, if that was a guy, I would say, you look very hot, very attractive. But I love myself, and that's the first condition to unconditional love. And that includes the bank. So I made it outside of the bank credit card. And then apparently, if you have 1 month off, by the way, the disclaimer of this video is completely different. It's about why a cured patient is not a lost customer. So stay tuned for my rant. Um, and then apparently, if you have the card empty because you're like financially responsible, and then you want to load money, you need to open the card, but there's nobody to do that for you. You have to make the call yourself for the papers that you probably left somewhere that you don't even tend to, because you're not doing anything indiscreet with that card that you would need a passport and so on. Indiscreet is going to an ATM. That is not discreet. They still. Anyway, I don't like, that's so much effort to make something just so easy, just like money transference, when I have the money from one bank to another. And people should be able to do that simply also when it comes to me. We used to have this kind of like a cash app, and then you had to tell all of the details of your psyche to get paid. And I'm like, darling, I'm an astrologer. People running hedge funds don't have to give that much detail. In fact, they are obligated to not, because they're not supposed to know what they're doing with the money. So yeah. By the way, in India, the nakshatra Punarvasu is both priest class and bankers and merchants, and that perhaps can explain why the Pope inherited a bank. The priesthood and the bankhood are so intimately linked. And I'm like, well, that's fantastic. If we can get will and consent on board, we'll have best economy and best religion. So I'm all for it. And if we are compatible, I might consider dating you. People ask about my gender. Sometimes I'm loaf, sometimes I'm whatever. But y'all gotta be respectful for all genders and sexes if you want to be with me anyway. Moon. Let's talk about why a cured patient is not a lost customer. And I actually have the credentials to speak about it. I'm an aromatherapist. I'm a trained, certified aromatherapist. I'm certified to blend essential oils and some butter and serve it to you as a medicine. Um, no, I don't do massages. Why? Because your dumb fucks are so perverts. um, But everybody gets excited when they think about it. It's like, oh, they do massages and stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not a sex worker. That's the point. Like I might install a cream that you will enjoy very much on your own or with your loved ones, but that's about it. And currently, I don't do anything because I skipped the human trafficking hub. So that was, what's the one of the most disturbing things after like you're out of the dumbfuckery? It's kind of like sexual sovereignty with all the rituals and stuff like that that they do behind your back, and that's also for the visibles on, like, social media. And it's not about OnlyFans or anything like that. They do astrologies. It's not in there. I mean, it is Uranus. It's sexy, but it's sexy like journalism is sexy. It's like, yeah. So anyway, why a cured patient is not a lost customer? That is very simple. If you think about your job, let's say I'm an aromatherapist. Okay, one of the first arguments I had in the Keter are about to turn into the 21 degree, so we're almost out of the assassination degree. So last honor for the assassination degree. Why you don't have to kill your patients if they insist on being healthy. This is because, let's say you're doing one of those healing professions. Let's say me, I'm an aromatherapist. Okay, one of the best arguments I had with my teacher was like, hey, how do I get people to enjoy the healing factors of aromatherapy without them actually having to be sick for that? Because usually the way it goes is people would have a bunch of diseases that nobody can cure except for the CIA, and and then they try the sham doctor, so which accidentally helps them because it's like, hey, when were you sleeping well last? When was the last time you were sleeping well? You got to do a change in your entire life, and of course, if people go for that, and when they are completely total loss, they do change that because already they cannot work. They are already in debt for all the medical expenses that they have that they cannot pay. They already need a social change to stay alive. So now it's like, hey, welcome to the sham doctor. But this is exactly why a cured patient is not a lost customer. Other things you can do with, let's say, the very things that I work with, which is essential oils. You can do an astrological talismans. You can do cosmetics. You can do kind of like energy, those energy blends that are like, oh, you want a new beginning in your life, or you want to manifest something in your life, and you can go from, oh, I have this ailment or disease in my psyche or in my body, to, hey, I'd really like to go for the next thing. Oh, what are the compatible scents that go with that? How can I make it more real, more sensual? How can I get into the mode of being where I want to be? Fantastic. This is why when you talk about actual medicine, a cured patient is not a lost customer. It's somebody that the healer or the whatnot, the aromatherapist can grow with. And that's exactly what we want to generate with our clients, is a relationship where we grow together, where the business grow together with the clients, and they grow and have better and better lives, and we grow and have better lives. There's more to me than an astrologer. There's more to me than an aromatherapist. There are more projects that I'd like to do, and it's very likely true to my clients as well. So um, and it's true to any place. Even you think about a lawyer. A lawyer doesn't benefit. So you meet them as a lawyer, and then you meet them as an artist, and then you meet them as an author, and then there's just so much more to life, and this is the natural evolution of vocation. I attended to political assassination prevention. I met people that liked soccer, and I met people that that were musicians. And Zelensky is an actor, and yes, and Trump does business for the fun, for the joy of that. Um, so the thought that you lose a customer once you heal a patient. Um, is not only dumbfound, but actually antithetical to your sense of accomplishment and to your sense of joy in what you do, whichever it is, whatever it is that you do. For example, when it comes to music, I remember when I heard like musicians talking about how they enjoy the fact that people are influenced by them or that people are inspired by them. And up until that point, I did, writing music all my life. I didn't even think that somebody could be positively inspired by me. I didn't see it as a leadership position at all. So it opened a new venue of thinking for me about my own art. Um, and so this is a great time to open an Apollo day. It's a soul day, and Apollo is the god of the art, the creativity, um, the open benevolent heart. That is the essence of the sun. Okay, it's the open benevolent heart, and this is where it shines the best. Um, Moon hour, as we speak. Yes. Um, So this, in essence, is my 2 cents rant. If I take it all the way to banking, let's talk about a joke that became real. Because if the priesthood is connected to the banking system, all we're really missing is will and consent. I'm talking about, most of the priesthood is not Protestant, but it's kind of like it's not the priesthood that doesn't have sex. Let's just put it that way. Whatever we're told is not true about the priesthood class. Okay, let's just put it that way. Um, and really all that we're missing is when we have willing consensual sex, then the tantric traditions were the closest, because this is where the religion and the philosophy are compatible for essential life. It's pragmatic, but it's also a part of the sacred rituals. There is a lot of erotic singing to God and the gods, but when it comes to eroticism between people and themselves, there's all abundance of shame um, and ideation, and rape ideation. Okay, rape is not freedom of either side of the venue, um, and so. Uh, and so this is yeah, it is. The only thing that would engineer it to be freedom is when an infant is raped, and then they feel it's like they take it out on the next person, so they feel the energetic relief because the body was trained to orgasm like that. But if you think about it, essentially, the person can access their identity and can access their sexual sovereignty. Then it's not they're not even. It's kind of like when you're very sick and hungry, and you crave the most junk food of junk food that is like radium junk food. But when you're actually having nourishment, when you're actually having food nourishment and so on, then you look at that and it's like that's like eating a nuclear bomb. Um, and it's also how they generate nuclear energy. Um, but when you think about, yeah, that's what's missing in the economy and in the banking system as well, because this is why we're so touchy, not only about sex but also about money, and then are expected to live in Catholic marriages, which is completely insane. Um, and then we're expected to think that a cured customer or a cured patient is a lost customer, which is because we were trained to think that medicine is prescribing pills rather than an entire art. And this is how artists influence people, and leaders influence people because they are curating themselves. Um, so, yes, Chiron still. Oh, the moon is sextile, is trining Chiron and Aries in Aries. So we have connection between the artistic leadership realm of Leo, nourishment of Cancer, Sun in Cancer, um, separating from Jupiter, so the religion and so on, but also the fiscal implications of our sexual preferences and kinks, which is basically Aries identity, sexual identity, and Chiron curating of that, and also real estate and war, so and banking. So we talked about almost everything. Mars is 6 degrees Virgo with Mercury in Leo, right opposing Pluto. So this is the Mercury opposition Pluto for y'all. I began it with the Mercury hour. Um, yes, deep healing, deep conversations, tabooest of taboo topics, um, many things. For those of you who are recovering from a sexual boundary violation in childhood or from pedophilia, and I know a lot of you that are satanic ritual abuse survivors, or those that cannot yet call themselves survivors. I know a lot of you participated in rituals where you did that to children. So what would people call pedophiles? So a lot of you are recovering from being pedophiles, and I just want to send a warm word out there because there's so many confusing messages, and the most confusing messages is to curate from that. Um, and speaking as a person that is the second frontier, so I was the victim of pedophiles when it comes to their rituals, um, and I did not participate in their ceremonies as much as I know. Um, and so I just want to put the word out there, from the perspective of somebody who is healing from being the victim of that, that curating yourself from being a perpetrator is not a bad word. So, and it also requires attention to the places where you were a victim. So that is my 2 cents for today, and hope you have a lovely Apollo day. Thank you for watching.